jump in there and hide with their Mutalisks, and this is likely to come down to either just Mutalisk micro right now, or possibly a Zergling sneak by while the Mutalisk attack is going on. And fortunately, in terms of those lines, Type B's base right here in the white, in the natural expansion right there, he has put down a sunken colony, so that should be able to protect him a little bit in case Saint tries to sneak Zerglings in while the Mutalisks are away. And it actually looks like, okay, no, that was an Overlord. I thought in the northwest position that might be a drone that Type B was sending up there to maybe get a third base, but that would be very early and a pretty big investment while both players are massing up. But it does seem like, you know, Type B and Saint are just sitting back a little bit right now and waiting until they can get a huge amount of Mutalisk and Scourge. So this is going to be a quite epic fight of Mutalisks in the air. And you know, I'd really like to see Type B once again be a little bit more aggressive on this and try to make this engagement happen over the natural expansion of Saint, because if that happens, then even if he loses a little bit in terms of the Mutalisk fight, then he might be able to do a little bit of splash damage and kill some drones. And if he can get his economy working harder than Saint's, then he will be in a good position as this game progresses. Geez, yeah, this is, it looks like that's got to be a full control group of Mutalisks right there that that Saint has set up, similarly for Type B, so it looks like they're going for even more than a full control group, which is pretty surprising. And by full control group, I mean 11 Mutalisks, because to get the stacking that modern professional players do with their Mutalisks, they end up grouping either a slow Overlord or a larva from their hatchery in with their Mutalisks, and when you do that and you tell them to move somewhere, they end up all going to the exact same spot. And because either the Overlord is so far away or the larva is, you know, not moving, obviously, that it will let all of those Mutalisks stack onto the exact same position. And yeah, it's funny that nobody is trying to move out right now. Both players getting a huge group of Mutalisks, and so far, this is weird. Like, Saint's just doing a funny little Mutalisk dance. They're both doing funny little Mutalisk dance over their natural expansions, and Type B wisely sending out a couple of Zerglings just to look for extra expansions, because if, you know, nobody's attacking, you might as well go ahead and expand. But still, we are just going to be sitting here and waiting until somebody moves out, and it looks like Type B is going to finally move out. He has got at least a whole group of Mutalisks, and he's got quite a number of Scourge, and I think he's setting those Scourge up in the middle of the map so that he might be able to retreat. And, oh well, maybe. As I'm saying that, of course, he decides to move his Mutalisks back. Unfortunately, his attack is going to be seen by that Overlord that he just sniped off, but hey, every kill is special. What do you know? It's going to help him out possibly in the long run. If he gets a couple more, he might be able to lock down Saint, but that seems unlikely at this point since they've had so much time to build Overlords and extra Mutalisks and Scourge. But still, picking off stray units is always a good idea in StarCraft, and Type B is still being hesitant and waiting for more Mutalisks to attack. I guess neither player wants to go over to the other player's base just because, I don't know, I guess they want a shorter resupply route. Oh, wow, and that was a sneak attack, I guess, by Type B, landing a Scourge on that group of Mutalisks, so already getting a little bit of extra damage, also taking down an Overlord that was out there in the open, slightly a little bit too far away from that grouping, but Saint, on the other hand, is hiding those Scourge, so Type B is going to have to be very aware. And here comes that Mutalisk attack, and a lot of Scourge landing, I think, from both players. Saint, I believe, landed quite a few of those Scourge, and Type B is also using the Scourge. They're not microing at all, they're just sitting there and attacking each other. Who's going to have more? It looks like Saint does have the benefit of taking a little bit of extra splash damage from those Overlords, and Type B might be in a little bit of trouble because of that. He is going to be having to run I don't know why they aren't microing. That is so weird. They just decided that they had enough that they could just park on top of each other. But honestly, Type B taking much, a lot more damage than he really needed to, just because, you know, Saint had the luxury of, you know, letting his overlords take some of the splash damage rather than all of it going into his Mutalisks. And you know, that is something that I was saying earlier. I wanted Type B to do it, except that I wanted it to happen over the mineral line or over the gas mining drones. But, you know, any bit of micro on either side could have really been beneficial in that. If Type B had initiated the attack, started to land his Scourge, and then moved his own Mutalisks out and microed against some of the Scourge coming from Saint, that would have been a very nice play. And now Type B is being forced to put down creep colonies, 4 spore colonies. It looks like the same thing is going on Saint's side, so he's going to be pretty well defended against Mutalisk harassment later on. And coming this late in the game, neither player deciding, you know, I'm still flabbergasted that they took so long to fight. Finally, Saint taking the battle over to Type B, and now they are parked over Type B's resource line, so he might be taking a little bit of damage. That spore colony is up, but Type B GG's because he does not have enough Mutalisks to defend against that attack from Saint. What are you doing? You've got to micro your Mutalisks. So that was a really funny game right there. Saint just refusing to leave his base, and luckily just, you know, had his, I think they were equal number of Mutalisks too, which is the other funny part. I think they had roughly the same amount of Mutalisks, and just them getting attacked, you know, just because those overlords were there to take that splash damage, they were able to live longer. I think Yark is giving him an earful, like, hey, you've got to micro your Mutalisks. At least I hope that's what he's telling him. Anyways, MBC is up 1-0, and we are going to move on to game 2.